Dr. Zextal looked at the screen with worried eyes. For 3 months, he had watched the blue planet called Earth. The beings there moved like hunters. They had eyes in the front of their heads, just like the dangerous creatures on his home world. But these humans were different. They were smart hunters. "Show me the data again," said Commander Velther. He was the leader of their research ship. His green skin looked pale under the lights. "Look at this," Dr. Zextal pointed to the screen. "They hunt in groups. They chase animals for hours until the animals get tired. Then they catch them. No other species we know does this." "What else?" Velther asked. His voice was quiet. "They keep other animals as pets. They take wild animals and make them live in their homes. Predators don't usually do this. They eat other animals. They don't live with them." On the screen, they watched a human throw a stick. A 4-legged animal ran after it and brought it back. The human was happy. The animal was happy too. "This is very strange," said Dr. Kithina, the ship's mind. "Doctor, the human is training the animal to bring things back. But the animal likes it. The animal wants to do it. There's more." Dr. Zextal touched the screen again. "Watch this." The screen showed humans working together. They built huge structures. They moved heavy things as a team. They talked to each other in quick, sharp words. Everything they did was planned. They organized like pack hunters, Dr. Zextal said. But they build things like plant eaters. They fight like predators, but they create like peaceful beings. "Commander." Velther was quiet for a long time. "What about the different groups of humans? Are they all the same?" "No." Dr. Zextal changed the screen. "There are many different human groups. But one group is very interesting. They call themselves Americans. They are the most active. Active how? They move the fastest. They build the biggest things. They have the most powerful weapons. And they smile a lot." Dr. Kithina made a worried sound. "Predators who smile are very dangerous. Should we contact them?" Velther asked. "The council says yes. They want to meet these humans. But they want to meet the Americans first." "Why?" "Because if we can understand the most dangerous humans, we can understand all humans." Far below on Earth, Captain Jake Morrison stood on the deck of his ship. The USS Liberty was the biggest ship in the American Navy. Jake had been a sailor. For 20 years, he had seen many things. But he had never seen anything like this. The radio crackled. "Captain, we're getting a message from—" "Well, sir, we're not sure where it's from." "Put it through," Jake said. A voice came through the radio. It sounded strange, like someone learning to speak for the first time. "Greetings, humans of America. We are the Cathara. We come from the stars. We wish to meet with you." Jake looked at his second-in-command, Lieutenant Amy Brooks. Amy was smart and quick. She had learned 7 languages and could fix any radio on the ship. "Sir," Amy said quietly, "the signal is coming from space." "Way up in space. Are you sure?" "Yes, sir, and sir." "There's something else. The signal is very clear. Too clear. Like they have technology we don't have." Jake picked up the radio. "This is Captain Morrison of the United States Navy. Who am I speaking to?" "I am Commander Velther. We have been watching your planet. We know about humans. We want to learn more. Watching us? For how long? 3 months. We study new species before. We make contact. It is safe that way." Amy wrote something on a piece of paper and showed it to Jake. It said, "Ask them why they chose Americans." "Why did you contact Americans first?" Jake asked. There was a long pause. "You are interesting. Your people show patterns we have not seen before." "What kind of patterns?" "You hunt, but you also protect. You fight, but you also build. You are predators, but you care for weak things. We do not understand this." Jake and Amy looked at each other. Jake had never thought of Americans as predators. He thought of them as protectors. Would you like to meet face to face? Jake asked, double quotes, yes, but we must be careful. We will bring only a small group. You must promise not to hurt us. We promise. Americans don't hurt visitors. This is what confuses us. Predators always hurt visitors. But you say you will not. Why? Jake thought about it. Because that's not what Americans do. We fight when we have to, but we don't fight visitors who come in peace. You fight when you have to? Yes. But you choose when to fight? Yes. Another long pause. This is very strange. Most predators fight because they must. You fight because you choose to? That's right. We will come to your ship tomorrow. We will learn about American predators who choose when to hunt. After the radio went quiet, Amy looked at Jake. Sir, do you think we're really predators? Jake thought about it. I guess we are. Americans have always been hunters. We hunted for food. We hunted for land. We hunted for freedom. But we also protect what we care about. And they think that's strange? Maybe where they come from, you're either a hunter or you're not. Maybe they've never seen hunters who also protect. What do you think they look like? Jake smiled. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But Amy, make sure the crew knows. These aliens are nervous about meeting us. They think we're dangerous. Are we dangerous, sir? Only when we need to be. And that's what makes us American. The next day, a small silver ship came down from the sky. It landed on the water next to the USS Liberty. The ship was smooth and quiet. No human technology looked like it. 3 aliens came out of the ship. They were tall and thin with green skin. They had big eyes that looked around constantly. They moved carefully, like they were ready to run. Commander Valther was the first to speak. You are Captain Morrison? Yes. Welcome to Earth. The alien stepped back when Jake smiled. Why do you show your teeth? It's called smiling. It means we're happy to meet you. Predators show teeth when they attack. American predators show teeth when they're friendly. Valther looked confused. This is not normal predator behavior. Jake laughed. I guess Americans aren't normal predators. And that's when the aliens realized they weren't just meeting predators. They were meeting predators who had learned to be something else entirely. 3 weeks later, the aliens were living at a big American army base. Dr. Lisa Parker walked with them every day. She was a teacher who studied different kinds of people. Her job was to help the aliens understand Americans. But the aliens were getting more scared, not less scared. Dr. Parker, said Valther, we need to talk. What's wrong? Lisa asked. Your people do very strange things. Yesterday, we watched humans sit in chairs and scream at a box with moving pictures. You mean watching TV? The pictures showed humans being chased by monsters. The humans watching were afraid, but they kept watching. They paid money to be afraid. Lisa smiled. Those are horror movies. People watch them for fun. Fun? Dr. Zexto looked sick. Humans think fear is fun? Some humans do. It's like a safe way to feel scared. We know it's not real. But why would predators want to feel scared? Lisa thought about it. Maybe because Americans like to test themselves. Even when we're safe, we want to feel strong. The aliens looked at each other. This is not normal, Dr. Kithina said. Afternoon, Sergeant Danny Rodriguez took the aliens to watch football practice. The American soldiers were playing against each other. They wore heavy padding and helmets. They ran at each other and crashed together. What are they doing? Valther asked. Playing football, Danny said. It's a game? A game? Yeah. 2 teams try to get the ball to the other end of the field. The other team tries to stop them. The aliens watched in horror. The humans were hitting each other hard. They were grunting and yelling. Some of them had paint on their faces. They are fighting, Dr. Zextel said. No, they're playing, Danny laughed. Watch, after the play, they help each other up. See? They're friends. It was true. After each play, the humans who had been fighting helped each other stand up. They patted each other on the back. They smiled. This is very confusing, Velthur said. They fight, but they are not angry? Right. It's competition. Americans love competition. But why do they have paint on their faces? Team colors. Shows which team they're on. Like war paint? Danny thought about it. I guess it is like war paint, but it's for fun war, not real war. Dr. Kithina made worried sounds. They practice fighting for entertainment. They paint their faces like warriors, but they call it play. Yeah, that's right. How often do they do this? Every weekend during football season. Millions of Americans watch. Millions? Oh, yeah. Football is huge here. Some people follow the same team their whole lives. Their fathers followed the team. Their grandfathers followed the team. The aliens were quiet for a long time. They have loyalty that lasts for generations? Velthur finally asked. Sure. Once you pick a team, you stick with them. Through good times and bad times. This is tribal behavior, Dr. Zextal whispered to the others. They have turned competition into tribal loyalty. What's wrong with that? Danny asked. Nothing is wrong, Velthur said quickly. It is just ... different from what we expected. The next day, Major Ryan Kelly showed the aliens a training exercise. American soldiers worked with airplanes, tanks, and ships. They talked to each other on radios. They moved like they had done this many times before. How long did it take to learn this? Dr. Zextel asked. The basics? A few months. To get really good? Years. How do you remember all the different parts? Practice. We do this over and over until we don't have to think about it. The aliens watched as the Americans destroyed fake targets. The planes dropped bombs. The tanks shot at fake enemy positions. The ships fired big guns. Everything was timed perfectly. This is just practice? Velthur asked. Yep, we practice so when we have to do it for real, we're ready. How often do you practice? All the time. Different exercises every week. You prepare for war constantly. Major Kelly thought about it. We prepare so we don't have to fight. If everyone knows we're ready, they won't want to fight us. You practice violence to prevent violence? That's right. Dr. Kithina was taking notes. They have turned preparation for war into prevention of war. That evening, Private Emma Watson sat with the aliens. She was young and friendly. She wanted to know about the aliens' home world. What do you do for fun on your planet? Emma asked. We meditate, Velthur said. We think about deep questions. We make art. We discuss philosophy. That sounds nice. Americans do those things too. What else do Americans do? Emma got excited. Oh, lots of things. We have extreme sports. That's where people do dangerous things for fun. We have reality TV shows where people compete against each other. We have something called NASCAR, where people drive cars really fast in circles. People do dangerous things for fun? Sure. Rock climbing, skydiving, bungee jumping. Americans love to push limits. What about the car racing? Oh, that's great. Drivers go really fast and try to win. Sometimes they crash, but they usually don't get hurt because they have safety gear. They risk crashes for entertainment. The risk is part of the fun. Americans like excitement. Dr. Zextal was writing furiously. They seek danger for pleasure. They compete in everything. They turn risks into games. What about Florida Man? Emma asked suddenly. What is Florida Man? It's not one person. It's like stories about crazy things people do in Florida. Like Florida man tries to fight alligator with pool noodle, or Florida man calls police because McDonald's ran out of chicken nuggets. These are real stories? Yeah. Americans love reading about the weird things other Americans do. It's funny. You laugh at your own species? Sure. Americans can laugh at anything. We even laugh at ourselves. The aliens looked at each other. They find humor in the strange behavior of their own kind, Dr. Kithina said. Is that bad? Emma asked. No, Velther said. It is just, we have never met a species that laughs at itself. Oh, Americans laugh at everything. We have jokes about our government, our military, our food, our sports teams. We even have jokes about making jokes. You make fun of your own military? All the time. Soldiers make the best military jokes, but you also respect your military? Of course, we can make fun of something and still respect it. That's very American. That night, the aliens had a meeting. These humans are not like any predators we have studied, Dr. Zextel said. They have turned violence into sport, Dr. Kithina added. They have turned competition into culture. They have turned loyalty into tradition. And they laugh at everything, Velther said. Even themselves. What do we tell the council? That we are not just dealing with predators. We are dealing with predators who have learned to control their hunting instincts. They hunt when they choose to hunt. They fight when they choose to fight. They compete when they choose to compete. Is that more dangerous or less dangerous? More dangerous. Much more dangerous, because it means they are thinking predators. And thinking predators are the most dangerous kind of all. Should we be afraid? Velther thought about Emma's friendly questions and Danny's patient explanations and Major Kelly's careful demonstrations. I don't think they want to hurt us, he said. But I think they could hurt us very easily if they wanted to. The scary part is that they choose not to. Why is that scary? Because it means they have power, but they control it. And predators who control their power are the most dangerous predators of all. The Galactic Council was worried. They had heard the reports from the Cathara team. Humans were not normal predators. They were smart predators who controlled their hunting instincts. This was dangerous. We need to test them, said High Council. Leader Morduk. We need to see how they react to a real threat. What kind of test? Asked Velther over the communication link. We will create a fake emergency. A pretend attack on one of our colony worlds. We will see how humans respond to interstellar conflict. Is that safe? It is fake. No one will really get hurt, but the humans will not know it is fake. What do? You expect them to do? Most civilized species form committees. They debate for weeks. They try to find peaceful solutions. They move slowly and carefully. And if humans are different, then we will know what kind of predators we are dealing with. The next day, Velther told the Americans about the emergency. He looked very upset. Our colony world Zephyr 7 is under attack, he said. A group of rogue aliens have taken over the planet. They are hurting innocent people. Admiral Jack Thompson was in the meeting. He was a big man with gray hair and serious eyes. Next to him sat Dr. Nicole Hayes, a smart woman who helped plan military operations. How many people are on the planet? Admiral Thompson asked. 50,000 colonists. They are peaceful farmers and scientists. What kind of weapons do the attackers have? Advanced ships, energy weapons. They have technology similar to ours. How long before they hurt the colonists? Maybe 1 week, maybe less. Admiral Thompson looked at Dr. Hayes. Doctor, what do you think? We need more information, she said. But we can't wait too long. If innocent people are in danger, we have to act. I agree. Velther was surprised. You will help us? Of course. That's what allies do. But you have never fought in space before. Then we'll learn fast." 6 hours later, Velther couldn't believe what he was seeing. The Americans had 3 complete battle plans. They had studied the alien technology. They had figured out how to change their own weapons to work in space. "How did you do this so quickly?" he asked Dr. Hayes. "Americans are good at adapting," she said. "We've been fighting in new places with new technology for our whole history. Space is just another new place. But you made 3 different plans. Plan A is if the enemy is weak. Plan B is if they're strong. Plan C is if things go really wrong. You plan for failure? We plan for everything. Americans always have a backup plan." Captain Steve Rogers was chosen to lead the mission. He was young but experienced. He had fought in many places on Earth. Now he would fight in space. "Are you worried?" Velther asked him. "A little," Steve said. "But Americans have always done impossible things. We'll figure it out." The space battle was strange for the aliens. To watch, the Americans took their Earth weapons and made them work in space. They took alien technology and made it better. They learned new tactics while they were fighting. "How are they doing this?" Dr. Zextel asked. "Americans are very good at making things work," Velther said. "They don't just use technology. They improve it." Commander Rachel Green was in charge of intelligence. She was smart and quick. She studied the enemy ships during the battle. "Something's not right," she told Captain Rogers. "What do you mean?" "These ships are too clean. No battle damage. No wear marks. It's like they're new. Maybe they're new. Maybe, but there's something else. They're not fighting like they want to win. They're fighting like they're following." "A script," Steve thought about it. "Keep watching. Tell me if you see anything else strange." 2 days later, Rachel had more information. "Captain, I think this is a test." "What kind of test?" "I think the aliens are testing us. I think they want to see how we fight." "Are you sure?" "No, but it would explain a lot. The enemy ships retreat when we advance. They advance when we retreat. It's like they're studying us. What should we do?" "Play along, but let's show them what Americans can really do." The next day, the Americans stopped holding back. They used all their new tactics at once. They coordinated their attacks perfectly. They captured 3 enemy ships without destroying them. "How did you do that?" Velther asked. "Americans prefer to capture enemies alive," Steve said. "Dead enemies can't tell you anything." "But how did you coordinate so perfectly?" "Practice. Americans train together all the time. We know how to work as a team." Rachel came to Steve with a smile. "Captain, you need to see this." She showed him the captured ships. "These aren't real warships. They're training vessels. And look at this. The weapon systems are set to minimum power." "So it was a test?" "Definitely a test." Steve called Admiral Thompson. "Sir, we know it's a test. What are your orders?" "Have you learned anything from it?" "Yes, sir." "We learned that we can fight in space. We learned that we can adapt alien technology. And we learned that our alien allies are very sneaky." "Good. Now show them what Americans do when we know we're being tested." "Yes, sir." The Americans turned the whole operation into a training exercise. They used the captured ships to practice space combat. They shared their new tactics with the alien observers. They turned the enemy's fake attack into a lesson in interstellar cooperation. "This is not normal," Dr. Zextel said. "What do you mean?" Velther asked. "We tested them. They figured out it was a test. Now they are using our test to teach us. They are not angry that we tricked them?" "No. Captain Rogers thanked me for the good training exercise. They are not upset?" Commander Green said our deception was pretty clever and asked if we had any other training scenarios. "They want more tests?" They want to learn. They turned our test into a lesson. That night, the aliens had another meeting. These humans are very strange, Dr. Keithanis said. They figured out our test in 2 days, Dr. Zextal added. And they were not angry about being tricked, Velther said. What does this mean? It means they are smarter than we thought. They are not just predators. They are learning predators. Is that bad? It is terrifying. Most predators hunt by instinct. These humans hunt by thinking. They adapt. They learn. They turn every challenge into a lesson. Should we tell the council? Yes, but we need to be careful how we tell them. Why? Because the council will want to know if Americans are dangerous. And the answer is yes, they are very dangerous. But they are also very useful. Useful how? They could teach us. They could protect us. They could help us become better than we are. Or they could conquer us. Yes, but I don't think they want to conquer us. I think they want to be friends. How do you know? Because when they captured the enemy ships, they could have destroyed them. When they figured out our test, they could have been angry. When they learned our technology, they could have kept it secret. But they didn't. No, they shared everything. They taught us their new tactics. They invited us to train with them. So what are Americans really? Velther thought for a long time. Americans are predators who have learned to hunt for others instead of just for themselves. They are dangerous, but they use their danger to protect their friends. And they want to be our friends? I think so. But we need to be very careful. Because if Americans decide you are their enemy, they will hunt you with everything they have. And they are very good at hunting. What should we tell the council? That we have found the galaxy's most dangerous predators, and we want them on our side. The Galactic Council meeting was the biggest in their history. Representatives from 47 different species came to hear about the humans. The chamber was full of worried voices. High Council leader Mordak called for silence. We have studied the reports from the Kethara team. We must decide what to do about the humans. What exactly are we dealing with? Asked Representative Quinter from the Velion species. Dr. Zextal stood up. We are dealing with apex predators. The chamber became very quiet. Explain, Mordak said. Every species we have met evolved as either hunters or prey. Hunters are aggressive, but usually not very social. Prey animals are social, but usually not very aggressive. Humans are both. How is that possible? They evolved as pack hunters. They had to be aggressive to hunt, but they had to be social too. Hunt together. This combination made them very successful. But they are not just hunters now? No, they have evolved beyond simple hunting. They hunt, but they also protect. They fight, but they also build. They compete, but they also cooperate. Representative Tal Shara from the Mindo species raised her hand. Are you saying they are more dangerous than regular predators? Much more dangerous. Regular predators hunt because they must. Humans hunt because they choose to. They can control their hunting instincts. Why is that more dangerous? Because it means they can plan. They can wait. They can choose the perfect time to strike. And they can choose not to strike at all. Ambassador Velther spoke next. We have seen this in their military. They have weapons that can destroy entire cities, but they choose not to use them. They have soldiers who could kill easily, but they choose to protect instead. Give us an example, Mordak said. The Americans have a military doctrine called overwhelming force applied with surgical precision. They hit enemies with massive power, but they are very careful not to hurt innocent people. That seems contradictory. It is. They can be the most violent and the most careful at the same time. We have never seen this before. Colonel Brad Stevens and Dr. Maria Lopez were on Earth, listening to the council meeting through their communication system. They had been asked to answer questions about human behavior. Dr. Lopez, came Velther's voice. "Can you explain why Americans try to help their enemies?" Maria thought about it. Americans believe that today's enemy can become tomorrow's friend. We have many examples in our history. Examples? We fought wars against Germany and Japan. Now they are our closest allies. We competed with Russia during the Cold War. Now we work together in space. Americans believe that conflict is temporary, but cooperation can last forever. "This is very strange," said Dr. Kithina. "Most predators destroy their enemies completely. Americans prefer to change enemies into allies," Brad said. "It's more useful than destroying them." "More useful how?" "Former enemies know your weaknesses. If you make them your friends, they can help you fix those weaknesses. If you destroy them, you learn nothing." The aliens were quiet for a long time. "Let me understand this," Mordak said. "Americans study their enemies, fight their enemies, defeat their enemies, and then try to help their enemies become better?" "That's right," Maria said. "Why?" "Because Americans believe that making the world better makes America better. If everyone is successful, everyone benefits. But what if the enemy doesn't want to be your friend? Then we stay ready to fight them. Again. But we keep trying to be friends. You never give up trying to make peace?" "Americans are stubborn about peace," Brad said. "We will fight as long as we have to, but we prefer to make friends." Dr. Zextal spoke again. "We have observed this behavior. During natural disasters, American military forces immediately switch from war preparation to rescue operations. The same soldiers who plan for battle also save lives during hurricanes and earthquakes. Is this normal for human militaries? It is normal for Americans. They see no difference between protecting their country and protecting people in need." Representative Yuldane from the Cree species had been quiet, but now she spoke. "Are you saying that Americans are predators who have learned to be protectors?" "Exactly," Velther said. "They have kept their predator instincts, but they use those instincts to protect instead of just to hunt." "How do we know they won't hunt us?" "Because they have had many chances to hunt us, and they have chosen not to. They could have taken our technology by force. They could have demanded payment for their help. They could have tried to control, use, but they didn't? No, they shared their knowledge with us. They helped us without asking for anything in return. They treated us as equals, even though they are stronger. What do you recommend?" "We recommend a full alliance. We think Americans could help us become better than we are." "Better how?" "They could teach us to be brave without being cruel. They could teach us to be strong without being destructive. They could teach us to compete without being enemies." "What if they refuse?" "They won't refuse. Americans like to help. It's what they do." On Earth, President Patricia Williams was preparing for the biggest speech of her life. She would address both the United Nations and the Galactic Council at the same time. "Madam President," said her advisor, "what will you tell them?" "The truth. That Americans want to be friends with everyone. That we will fight anyone who hurts innocent people. And that we believe everyone can be better than they are." "What if they don't believe us?" "Then we'll prove it. Americans are good at proving things." The speech was broadcast across Earth and to 47 alien worlds. President Williams spoke simply and clearly. "My fellow humans and our new alien friends, America has always believed that freedom and friendship are worth fighting for. We have fought many wars, but we have always fought for peace. We have many weapons, but we prefer to use words. We are strong, but we use our strength to help others become strong too. Some of you are worried that Americans are dangerous predators. You are right, we are dangerous. But we are dangerous to those who hurt innocent people. We are dangerous to those who take freedom away. We are dangerous to those who choose war over peace. We are not dangerous to our friends. We are not dangerous to those who want to learn and grow. We are not dangerous to those who choose cooperation over conflict. America offers friendship to all species. We offer to share our knowledge, our technology, and our strength. We ask only that you help us make the galaxy a better place for everyone. If you choose to be our friends, we will be loyal friends forever. If you choose to be our enemies, we will be dangerous enemies until you choose to be friends instead. The choice is yours. But know this, Americans never give up hope that enemies can become friends. We will keep trying to make peace until peace is made. The response was immediate. 46 of the 47 species voted to form an alliance with humanity. The 47th species asked for time to think about it. Why did so many agree so quickly? President Williams asked. Because they realized something, said General Tom Anderson. They realized that the most dangerous predators in the galaxy are also the most trustworthy. Because Americans have the power to hurt everyone, but we choose to help everyone instead. And that makes us trustworthy? It makes us the kind of predators they want on their side. They know that if Americans promise to protect them, Americans will keep that promise, even if it costs us everything. And if they threaten us, then they'll learn why Americans are called apex predators. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. Do you think it will? No, Madam President. I think they're too smart to make that mistake. They've seen what Americans can do. They know we prefer to protect rather than destroy. But they also know we can destroy if we have to. So what happens now? Now we teach them what we've learned. We show them that being a predator doesn't mean being cruel. We show them that being dangerous doesn't mean being destructive. We show them that the strongest animals can also be the kindest. And if they learn well, then the galaxy just became a much safer place. Because there's nothing more dangerous than a predator who chooses to protect. And there's nothing more powerful than predators who work together. The meeting ended with a new understanding. Americans weren't just predators. They were evolved predators who had learned to use their hunting instincts to protect instead of just to kill. They were apex predators who had chosen to become apex protectors, and the galaxy would never be the same. 6 months after the first alien contact, the galaxy had changed. The Terran Keth-Ara Defense Initiative was now a reality. General Tom Anderson walked through the new joint training facility on Luna Base. He watched American soldiers teaching alien recruits how to work together. "How are they doing?" asked Admiral Susan Clark. She was in charge of the space operations. "Better than expected," Tom said. "The aliens are quick learners, and they're starting to understand what makes Americans different." "What do you mean?" "Watch. Sergeant Kim Davis over there. She's teaching the Keth-Ara squad about improvisation." Admiral Clark watched as Sergeant Davis gave the alien squad a broken radio and told them to find a way to call for help. The aliens looked confused at first. They wanted detailed instructions. They wanted to follow a manual. "There is no manual for this situation," Kim told them. "You have to figure it out yourself." "But what if we do it wrong?" asked Trainee Velkus. "Then you learn from your mistake and try again. Americans call it thinking outside the box." "What box?" Kim smiled. "That's the point. There is no box. Americans don't like to be limited by rules when lives are in danger." The aliens worked together and found a way to fix the radio using parts from other equipment. When they succeeded, they looked proud. "Good job," Kim said. "You just learned the most important American military skill." "Which is?" "Making things work when they're not supposed to work." In another part of the base, Lieutenant Kevin Harris was teaching alien pilots how to fly Earth-style aircraft. The aliens were used to smooth, predictable flight patterns. American flying was different. "Why do human aircraft shake so much?" asked Pilot Trendle. Because human aircraft are built for combat, Kevin explained. They need to move fast and change direction quickly. Smooth flying is pretty, but it's not always useful. But shaking means the aircraft is stressed. Right, and Americans are comfortable with stress. We know that the best performance comes when you push things to their limits. Is that not dangerous? Everything dangerous is dangerous. But Americans believe that avoiding all danger is more dangerous than taking smart risks. The alien pilot looked confused. How can avoiding danger be dangerous? Because if you never take risks, you never learn. If you never learn, you can't grow. If you can't grow, you become weak. And weak things get eaten by strong things. So, Americans take risks to stay strong? Americans take smart risks to get stronger. There's a difference. Dr. Nicole Hayes was working with alien strategists in the planning center. She was showing them how Americans approach military problems. The key is to have multiple plans, she explained. Americans always assume that the first plan won't work perfectly. Why? Asked Strategic Advisor Morkith. Because the enemy gets a vote. They will try to stop your plan. So you need backup plans. How many backup plans? As many as you can. Think of Americans plan for success, failure, and everything in between. This seems very complicated. It is. But it's also why Americans win so often. We're ready for anything. She showed them a planning session for a rescue mission. The Americans had 17 different scenarios planned out. Plan A is if everything goes right. Plan B is if the enemy is stronger than expected. Plan C is if the weather is bad. Plan D is if our equipment breaks. Plan E is if you have 17 plans for one mission, 17 main plans. Each plan has sub-plans for different complications. How do you remember them all? Practice. Americans practice until planning becomes automatic. Morkith studied the plans. This is very thorough. But how do you decide which plan to use? You don't decide ahead of time. You watch what happens and use the plan that fits the situation. You change plans during the mission? All the time. Americans are very flexible. We adapt to whatever happens. What if none of your plans work? Then we make a new plan. Americans are good at improvising. Even in combat? Especially in combat. Combat never goes according to plan. In the medical center, Corporal Michelle Taylor was teaching alien medics about battlefield medicine. The aliens were shocked by American medical practices. You perform surgery in combat? Asked medical trainee Silvera. Sometimes. If someone will die without immediate help, we operate wherever we are. But it is not sterile. It is not safe. It's safer than letting someone die. Americans believe that imperfect help is better than perfect help that comes too late. But what about contamination? What about complications? We deal with those later. First priority is keeping people alive. The alien medic was quiet for a moment. You risk complications to save lives immediately? Yes, Americans focus on the biggest problem first. Dead people can't be helped. Living people can be healed. This is very different from our medicine. How does your medicine work? We study each patient carefully. We run many tests. We make sure we understand the problem completely before we act. How long does that take? Several hours, sometimes days. What if the patient dies while you're studying? That is ... regrettable. But proper medicine requires proper procedures. Michelle looked at her seriously. American medicine has a saying, you can't save everyone, but you have to try to save everyone. We know we'll lose some patients, but we fight for every life as hard as we can. Even when the odds are bad? Especially when the odds are bad. Americans don't give up easily. Captain Jake Morrison, the first human to meet the aliens, was now in charge of the joint naval operations. He stood on the bridge of the USS Friendship, the first human-alien ship. "Status report," he said. "All systems operational," reported Lieutenant Amy Brooks. She was now his second-in-command on the joint vessel. "Alien crew integration? Going well. The Kethara crew members are adapting to our procedures. They're starting to understand American teamwork. Any problems?" "Just one. They keep asking for permission to do their jobs." Jake smiled. "Still not used to American independence?" "No, sir. They're used to following orders exactly. Americans make decisions on their own." "How are you handling it?" "I told them that in the American military, everyone is expected to think. Following orders doesn't mean turning off your brain. And they're learning." Ensign Kilmer made a suggestion yesterday about improving our sensor efficiency. "Good suggestion?" "Excellent suggestion. I implemented it immediately." "How did he react?" "He was surprised that I listened to him. Apparently, junior crew members don't make suggestions in their military. Well, they do now." The USS Friendship was heading to its first joint mission. Pirates had been attacking trade ships near the Sigma Centauri system. The joint crew would stop them. "Contact ahead," reported Sensor Operator Quinto, one of the alien crew members. "What do you see?" Jake asked. 3 ships attacking a cargo vessel. The cargo ship is requesting help. Time to intercept? 12 minutes at full speed. All hands. This is the captain. We have a rescue mission. This is what we trained for." The battle was quick and clean. The human crew's aggressiveness combined with the alien crew's precision made them very effective. They disabled the pirate ships without destroying them and rescued the cargo vessel. "Excellent work, everyone," Jake announced. Human and alien crew working together perfectly. After the mission, Quintal approached Jake. "Captain, may I ask a question?" "Of course. Why did we not destroy the pirate ships?" "Because Americans prefer to capture enemies alive when possible." "But they were trying to kill innocent people." "Yes, and now they're in prison instead of dead. Maybe they'll learn to make better choices." "You think criminals can change?" "Americans believe anyone can change if they want to. We give people chances to be better. Even people who try to hurt others. Especially those people. If they can. Change from bad to good. That's better than just destroying them." Quintal thought about this. "This is why other species trust Americans." "What do you mean?" "You are strong enough to destroy your enemies, but you choose to give them chances to become friends instead. This shows that Americans can control their power. And that's important? Very important. Species that cannot control their power eventually destroy themselves. Americans have learned to control their power and use it to help others. Is that what makes us good allies? That is what makes Americans the best allies. You are dangerous enough to protect us, but wise enough not to hurt us." The mission was a success, but it was just the beginning. Over the next months, joint human-alien teams worked all over the galaxy. They stopped wars, rescued civilians, and explored new worlds together. The aliens learned American values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. But they also learned something more important. They learned that the most dangerous predators in the galaxy were also the most trustworthy. Because Americans had the power to take anything they wanted, but they chose to earn it instead. They had the strength to force others to obey, but they chose to inspire others to follow. As the USS Friendship traveled through space, Jake thought about how much had changed. 6 months ago, humans had been alone in the universe. Now they were part of something bigger. "Sir," Amy said, "we're getting a message from Earth. The President wants to congratulate us on our successful mission." "Put it through." President Williams' voice filled the bridge. "Captain Morrison, Admiral Clark tells me that the joint crews are exceeding all expectations.
Yes, Madam President.
Humans and aliens working together are strong.